Conjuring dominates theaters. James Gunn announces Man of Tomorrow. And Activision turns down who for Call of Duty adaptation? All this and so much more in this episode of Beyond the Screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Screen. My name is Ryan, and I'll be your host today. And with me, as always, is Jake Holtzclaw. Jake, what's up?
What's up, man? It feels like it's been a week, right? But it doesn't. It feels like it's been 2 weeks.
It does feel like it's been a long time.
It feels longer than it has. I'm sure those at home are like, man, it feels like 3 days since you guys posted. But
I'm so tired of hearing them.
I feel like, I don't know. I'm not tired of it. I'm just saying it's like, man, it's been a while since I've talked with Ryan about. No, it's not. It was like yesterday I talked about a movie with Ryan. But I was about to straight lie to you guys.
No, but I had the same feeling. I think it was yesterday when I was writing one of our stories. I was like, man, why does it feel like it was forever ago?
Yeah, dude, no idea. But so over the weekend, whatever I did this weekend, so one, I built a bed frame. I will not show you. It's dirty. Bed's dirty. But and then
Controversial corner.
I joined a gang. Yeah, no, there was an antique bike show put on by a local club. Not like a motorcycle gang or club, but it's a vintage motorcycle club.
Cool.
And I joined it. $25 a year. I was like, that's not bad. And I got a free shirt. So it's not even 25. That's math. Girl and boy.
Boy math, yeah.
One of the two, basically. I mean, it's a membership with a free shirt. That's basically like an expensive t-shirt. And then I basically, it's like a frat, right? It's like a $25 frat. I just made a bunch of friends who are like over the age of 60. I think I am one of the youngest ones in that club, if not the youngest. But how are you, Ryan?
You remind me a lot of when I was a senior in high school and I got into EKU, or like the college that I went to, and I was on a floor. And I cannot remember what those like organizations or like groups that you can be a part of. I can't remember what they're called, but they're like some sort of like it's like a life group that you can be a part of, right?
Oh.
I don't remember what it's called, but like I got into one, and I was like, yeah, and I get a free shirt. And my senior English teacher was like, nerd, like shirt. Like I was like, ah. Like that's what you reminded me of hard there. Like that's what you're excited about is a shirt, you're going to college. And I was like, yeah. It's like
it's not the worst looking shirt.
No. But my weekend went fairly well. I'm getting married, I'm engaged, and so we went and toured a venue. Me and my partner, and that was fun on Saturday. And
I don't remember doing that with you, Ryan.
Oh yeah. Well, you were there. No, but in spirit. But no, I think to sum up how my days have gone, and this is going to sound like it's a lot worse than what it is, but I find this story to be funny because it's just happened today actually. I work in higher ed, so I was at my job and I was doing my thing, and the reason I say that is because there's like the cafeteria, and like the only reason I say that is because I want to paint the picture of like a college like food place. Like I want you to imagine
tell folks. He's a storyteller. Yeah,
I am. I have another story for our micro segment here in a minute, but we'll get there. Anyway, I walk over and I go there, and the line's huge because it's like 12:30 and all these college kids are grabbing food, and I'm like, oh. So anyway, I wait in line for like 10 minutes, and I walk up there, and so my name is Ryan. But whenever you're in like a crowded room, like a restaurant, like a Starbucks or something like that, or like just someone's taking your order and you give them the order and they're like, name on the order, they always, without a doubt, they will look at me and go, Brian. And I will go, no. Actually, no.
No.
Not that. So I've started like, I do this thing with my last name too, because when you say it, people are like, Gum? So I'm like, yeah, Gumm, like gum, like two M's. And they're like, oh. So I started doing that with my first name. so like when people go Brian, well, today I was really agitated because this guy had taken my order like 3 times in like 4 weeks, right? So like I've been there. He like I have said my name Ryan many a time. It like he knows kind of who I am, not really, but like just like a regular. He looks at me and I'm like, he's like name on order, and I went Ryan. He goes Brian, and you know when you say something in your head and you say it out loud and you're like that came out a lot more harsh than what I really wanted it to.
Yeah.
I looked at this man and I went Ryan. And as soon as the N left my mouth, I thought, oh, that did not sound very good. And he was like, okay. And he like took the order and
Workers.
I was like, thank you. Like I was like trying to backtrack. I was like, thank you so much, dude. Thank you, whatever. Like I was just being nice. He's like, what do you want to drink? And he gets me like, he's like, whatever. Or I tell him what I want. I wanted a Coke. So I step to the side and I watch him pour the Coke. He hands it to me and I grab it warm, no ice.
Damn.
He and I took a swig of it and I was like, I earned this. I was like,
I deserve it.
I deserve this. So I got my food. So that's how my day went. I looked at
Oh
he was
my
just like, it was
gosh.
just a combination of the things where it was like, it was loud. This happens to me all the time. This guy had taken my order before. So he kind of like, and not that he should know because he takes so many orders, but it's also like, it's like every time with this guy. I'll be like, Ryan. Ryan. And he goes, Brian. So this time I was just like, Ryan. He was like, okay. And then he skipped me on the ice and my
icy.
he said no ice. And I was like, I've earned this. So other than that, my day went very well. Went off without a hitch, having fun, doing the thing. So with that, we'll go ahead and hop off our small talk segment and hop into the micro segment before our major box office news, in which case we talk about what we are drinking this week. We always bring back, as always, we'll bring in Emily Keller, our director, to tell us what she's drinking. And I mean, the reason for this segment for our new listeners, I should probably preface, we always have a little pick-me-up before the show. And we realized that before we would record that we would discuss it. And we thought it'd be fun to chit-chat about it during the episode. So what are we drinking is now our micro segment to start every episode. And we'll always start with the amazing, the director, Emily Keller. So tell us, what's getting you through the night?
I'm going to make this fast so no sirens or loud cars drive past my apartment every time I unmute my mic. I'm having a hot black hazelnut cookie tea like I probably had the past couple of times. It's just so good and comforting and yeah. Okay.
Delicious. Yeah.
For you guys, Jake, what about you? What are you drinking?
For our new listeners, before we move on, if you listen closely when Emily's around, when she talks, you just hear she's right by a road in her apartment, and you just hear like drive by every now and then. Anyway, Jake, take us away.
Karma. It's an energy water with one of those, like, you ever seen this where you push the flavoring into it?
Oh,
yeah. So this is usually like a Kool-Aid type powder, and you press this button into it and it releases it into the bottle, and then you shake it up. And I got that app that like you can scan the barcodes and see if it's like somewhat healthy for you. I was doing that on set, like on the movie set 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
Last weekend.
So,
I don't know. But scanning stuff everywhere, just like, ooh, scan this, scan that. Like I scanned some guy's cigarettes. They didn't come up because it's only for food, but I would assume it's 0 out of 100. This got really good score. It's also got caffeine in it, so I guess it's a tea base. It's raspberry peach, and it's okay. I would attribute it to be like better than a bubbly or like like one of those watered down kind of seltzers.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it. I think it's pretty good, and if it's good for me and got caffeine, thumbs up all around. Ryan, what are you drinking?
First off, that sounds delicious. And when you were it was hilarious watching you run around on set, because it's like we're on a short film set for like a night and a half, and we're like trying to like just eat quick and go. So we've got like, I don't know, ramen and like noodles, like mac and cheese, like things that are obviously not healthy. Yeah. And this guy's like, hey, let me scan that just from across the room, knowing that it's going to come back to like a 2. Like, so it's like, I do not want to see what the score is because I'm just trying to get some sustenance.
Well, what's worse, before you eat it or after you eat it?
Well, probably after, but we had some pretty funny responses from that, and we discovered some things were a lot less healthy than you think. But anyway,
Don't drink Monster if you want to have kids.
anyway. Yeah,
I'm
Emily just.
just kidding. That's an opinion.
For our audio listeners, Emily just made like the face like she was drinking a ton of them after that. So anyway, I am drinking. I'm gonna be so basic. This is such like an unfortunate way to end this segment because it's
Water.
so bland. It is just black tea. It is just
Oh.
tea. I am drinking leaf water to the extreme, and it is just. You just might as well just put an IV in my veins with caffeine in it and just go, because at this point, I'm not here for flavor. I'm here for the caffeine. Oh no, I got booed. Emily booed me. Either way,
He's performing right now. He's one of those performative males that drinks black coffee.
Never performing. I do drink black coffee, but
Yeah, he's performing.
what if I just like the bitterness, Jake? What if I just like bitter?
Nobody likes just the bitter. It's
Well,
all just to be cool in front of
I
the ladies.
really hate to burst your bubble, but that I really like the taste of coffee. I have had people walk up, like when they see me drinking black coffee, they're like, "Dog, that's killer," and I'm like, "It's literally just coffee." I think that's such a weird. Never mind. We won't dive down that road.
You got told it was killer once, and now you just do it every time.
No, I actually have been drinking black coffee for a long time before that statement. But anyway, that is the end of What Are We Drinking, in which we tell you what's getting us through the recording. And with that, that brings us to our first major segment of the episode, Box Office News. We take you through the top 5, which you can see on your screen here. This past week was The Conjuring winning, followed by Hamilton's release, then Weapons Falls to 3, Freakier Friday to 4, and Caught Stealing at 5. We'll go back to the top and tell you exactly the numbers and how they won and in which way. But before we get to that, we're going to see how close we got. Every week we do a quick prediction to end the segment, and we start the next week with how off we were, or in this case, how close we were. And Jake, 3 of 5 with 1 incorrect. He had the correct 5. He had 1 through 3 right, which was Conjuring, Hamilton, and Weapons. But if he had flipped Freakier Friday and Caught Stealing, he would have had a perfect 5 for 5, 100% from the field. Jake, how do you feel?
I was so number 5, Caught Stealing, still estimated, but I don't think it's going to get it because it's $650,000 off, and I don't think Caught Stealing can pull that away from Freakier Friday. But I had bet that Caught Stealing would not drop near as much in its second week as Freakier Friday would on its 5th, going into its 5th.
Yeah.
But Caught Stealing surprised me heavily by almost dropping 60% from 1 to 2, rather than Freakier Friday dropping only 42.9 into the 5th. Because I had thought that Hamilton or literally anything else would have pulled away from Freakier Friday, just because I thought it was, I mean, come on. Going into the 5th week, I didn't expect it to still pull what it did. I was expecting like high twos, like Fantastic Four right now in its 7th is 2.8.
Yeah.
So like thought process behind that, but kind of got back into the game. We've been having a pretty rough streak here, and so it felt good to be like, yeah. Oh,
yeah. No, and I give you all credit because we kind of debated it a little bit. And again, for our new listeners, I always say every week, just so that you like we have an understanding of the segment. We are so blind when we guess these things. It is totally our prediction. We aren't looking at forecasts. We don't know what is projected to make what. We are just having fun for fun's sake. So the fact that Jake got 3 of 5 and was 1 swap away, because we've had many weeks where we just have had 3 of the top 5 just not be in the top 5 at all. So the fact that you were 3 of 5 with all 5 in the top 5 and 1 choice away from being completely correct, 5 for 5, that's nuts. So,
which you were the same. You had swapped 1 and 2 and 4 and 5.
Yeah,
so.
For me it was, I thought Hamilton with like recency bias. You look at what, especially with K-pop Demon Hunters, what it was able to do. I felt like a Hamilton release with the backing that it had. I predicted that maybe there'd be an upset because The Conjuring outside of, I think 2 did well because we talked about it last week. 1 did fantastic. I think 2 did well, but 3 and 4 did not have great releases like
Right.
5. So I was predicting that with K-pop Demon Hunters and with the 2 prior, that 5 would fall into that same kind of boat as 3 and 4 and, whatever. But no, people turned out in droves for Conjuring, and it dominated, as we'll talk about numbers here in a second. And then same pitfall with Caught Feeling and Freakier Friday. Disney has done this thing where they're going to be the most profitable, more like outreach, right? Or not outreach, but output in terms of company this year in the box office. They're going to make the most money. However, they would not say this is their most successful year because they've not dominated the number ones. That title belongs to Warner Brothers, again, as we'll discuss in a second. Not Caught Stealing, Freakier Friday holding fourth, a lot like Fantastic Four held fourth, that same position for a while, is not something I would have predicted. So, either way. And that's been our predictions, and we'll get into what we predict for next week after we tell you the numbers from this week's top 5. So, starting at number 1, Warner Brothers picks up its 7th straight film to open in theaters as the highest grossing film of the box office with its latest release, James Wan's Conjuring, the finale for The Conjuring, titled Last Rites. The film brought in $84 million domestically and earned $194 million globally on a $55 million budget. This not only dominates both domestic and international audiences, but makes it the 3rd highest grossing horror opening here and the biggest opening for a horror overseas ever. It opened, again, droves of people went to go see the finale for the Conjuring franchise. The IMDb synopsis reads, quote, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren take on one last terrifying case involving mysterious entities they must confront. The film has a tomato meter score of 56%, which is a splat, so critics did not like it, but audiences on the popcorn meter thought it was pretty respectable, giving it a 79%, which again that's pretty good. It's not terrible. That's about what horror films, like a good average horror film, will get, about a B or an 80. So audiences are enjoying it, not as much as, again, the first few maybe, but doing well and earning high marks in terms of budget, in terms of money. Finishing second again is Disney's Hamilton, the streaming version, hits theaters and earns $10.1 million over the course of the weekend. The play term streaming hit turned theatrical winner was also released, or I guess I should say it was released to 1,800 theaters nationally. So we had this discussion before. Do we consider that to be a major release, or is that's more limited to me, I think is what we discussed.
Well, The Conjuring is 3,800 right now, which is that's pretty sizable. I mean, that's a lot.
Huge. Yeah, that's a lot.
I've never seen 4,000, but like that's one of the highest numbers I think I've seen paying attention since like the podcast. I don't look at like max theaters every single time, but 3,800's up there. I've never seen a 4 while doing this podcast. So I think there's 4,000 theaters out there.
Yeah.
Likely. But yeah, so an 1,800 for Hamilton. It's like right on that like can you say half of the theaters in the States are a wide release? Probably, like maybe, but 1,000, it's like right on that like limited. Like I would argue 1,000 out of the 4,000 that theaters, like that's not necessarily a wide release.
You're still leaning more wide, but not like it, because the thing is, if it's under 2,000, I just don't think that's a wide release. Not to me. Like that is. And the thing is, we're looking at the scope of just straight Hollywood. I'm sure if I don't know if we in this call had a film hit 1,000 theaters across the nation, we'd be like, yeah. But like, it's so I guess like we're looking at it from a very high perspective. But I just don't feel
from a Walt Disney or a Warner Bros. I would argue that just going out to 1,000 is limited, but.
Yeah, I feel like that's not a high mark. And so looking down on the line here, the only film that comes close from this last week's top 5, or even really at all, is Caught Stealing. Caught Stealing, which is 4th, released to almost 3,600 theaters.
5th.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's 5th. Released to 3,500 theaters.
Yeah.
It pulled in an average of $894 a theater.
The Breakfast Club re-released this weekend too.
It did. It's down at 18.
Yeah, at 1,000 theaters. But I didn't hear about that. But anyway, I like the Breakfast Club. We can move on though.
Good movie. No, you're good. Finishing third in its fifth weekend in theaters is Zach Kreger's Weapons. The film earned $5.2 million domestically, bringing its global tally to $251.2 million. This is the first big drop we've seen from Weapons since its start in our box office, but still great marks. This is a $250 million for a film that I think was the budget was 35 million, 40 something. So great job from I think that's another Warner Brothers and for Kreger's. Again, finishing fourth is Disney's Freakier Friday. It is also in its fifth weekend in theaters, earning $3.8 million domestically. This brings its global tally up to $142.9 million. And as we talked about, finishing fifth and rounding out our top five is Darren Aronofsky's Caught Stealing from Sony Pictures. The film earned $3.2 million domestically, bringing its global total to $22.2 million. We have no others other than like what you had just talked about already with the Breakfast Club re-releasing. There's not really, I think Jaws was down there somewhere. But there's not.
Jaws was last week, right?
Yeah. There's not a lot. And outside of that, it's kind of not a slow week per se because The Conjuring almost earned $100 million domestically in its first weekend. But we don't have a lot to report on after that.
Dropped to 20th. It dropped 86%.
That's so
It
sad.
lost. Yeah, and that's second week too. Honey Don't in its third week also dropped to 24. Making half of what Toxic Avenger is in its second. But
oh man, see, but these are going to be films that like we talk about in like 2 years. It's like underrated.
I still feel like Honey Don't should have done a whole lot better than it did. But like in its third week and only 190 theaters are carrying it.
Yeah.
Wow. But that's really all there. Somebody kicking you, right?
Did you hear that? My upstairs, I live in an apartment complex and there are kids upstairs and I think one just jumped off a couch.
That's crazy.
Because that was loud.
there's not much else going on past the top 10. Superman's still holding strong at 10. Bad Guys 2 is at 8. Light of the World, which I'm not exactly sure. Oh, that's the one that follows Jesus's life from ministry beginning through crucifixion, resurrection, as seen through the Apostle John's eyes.
Is that
so that's
the
actually
one?
a ninth.
That
debuted this weekend.
Mark Hamill? No, it's not.
Oh, was it? No.
There was one like a Jesus Christ story, an animated film that was earlier this year. That I think that one was released with Mark Hamill. Anyway.
Yeah, box office is relatively quiet unless you're looking at the top 5.
Yeah, and on that, I think that is a great way to transition into next week's prediction. So, Jake, as always, you go first. Tell us why you think I could see your top 5. Tell the audience what that is and why you think that's going to be that way.
So Conjuring, I think is going to have that same staying power of that we usually see from the number one. So usually about a negative 50% drop from week 1 to week 2. That's still going to rake in nearly 40 million. It could be around the 30s. We do see Hamilton leave before the weekend. I think it's offered through the 11th. So that's Thursday for you folks who haven't seen it yet. So Hamilton's coming out. My first pick is The Conjuring because of the foreseen drop and how much it still stands to make. My second is The Long Walk. The Long Walk comes out this weekend. Mark Hamill as kind of, he's not the antagonist, but he's definitely the leader of the walk, and he's giving the orders. And so he does kind of catch a lot of the blame. But this is going to be like one of those, like, I can't, is it a thriller, Ryan? Like, help me out with describing, is it a dramatic thriller? Or?
Definitely a thriller. I think there's an element of horror involved because you got to think of like the terror that these kids are going to go through. So I think it does lean horror, but it's definitely a thriller.
Gotcha. And so I put The Long Walk at second because I think it can pull in a bit of money. Like I would argue more than Hamilton did, like a little bit more than 10 million, maybe even 20. We'll see. And I could be completely wrong. It could blow it out of the water and do like what Conjuring did and get an 80 million. But I just don't think there's a lot of the appeal for the genre as much as, like, it's a cool concept. I like it, but I just don't know if thrillers put butts in seats. Because it's not also not a kid's movie. I wouldn't take a kid to go see it. And then Man, I'm yapping. Downton Abbey, the final season, right, or the final, yeah, the grand finale,
Yeah.
is coming out wide release in theaters. I've got it at 3. I I think that might be my hot take for today's episode of kind of like putting it at third because it very well could do better than The Long Walk. It might not. Um, and I'm kind of holding out on The Conjuring to beat both of those. I just don't think Downton Abbey is gonna bring 80 million or over 40 million. I just don't think it's gonna happen. We thought Hamilton, or even Ryan thought Hamilton was gonna be insane, and then we just see like 10 million, which is awesome. Like 10 million's great. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know what you thought it was gonna be, Ryan, but I feel like you thought it was gonna be a whole lot more than even The Conjuring would rake in.
I thought Hamilton this week, I should say, would pull in. Last week, I thought Hamilton this week would pull in between 15 and 20. So 10 is
Yeah.
definitely under what I thought. I did not realize The Conjuring was going to pull in 87.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and The Conjuring actually kind of undershot me because I had known the first Conjuring did really well, which is not like the best way to base number 5, right? But over 100 million in its opening, and I think even the second one got over 100 million.
yeah.
And so 84 is still. I was like, maybe it'll do 100, maybe. So into my fourth, I've got Weapons staying. Um, so it'll be dropping from third this week to fourth next week, I think. And then another, like my toss up, not my hot take, but my toss up is Demon Slayer at 5. So that's an anime that I think is super popular, both here in the States and in Japan. So I foresee its domestic being pretty high as well. So I'm basing that number 5 pick off of the recent Jujutsu Kaisen anime that came into theaters a few weeks back. We went over it.
Mhm.
And it didn't get a lot. It got about 3 to 4 million, I remember, domestically, and it was only released during the week. It did not get tallied on the Box Office Mojo for the weekend.
Yeah.
Even though I think it was out during the weekend. I really feel like it was, but it didn't get tallied for it.
I wonder if there's like a
Um,
number you have to hit in terms of how many theaters you're in.
but it was a wide release. Like
Hmm.
it had a few thousand.
That is odd.
Or at least 1,000. I know it was a wide release, and it just wasn't tallied on the weekend for box office. So, um, I think Demon Slayer is going to pull the same thing because it's over the weekend. I think it's got the same kind of pull with that audience, and it'll bring a 3 to 4 million, which I think because Weapons is at 5 this week, it's going to get beat by Weapons again. But with Freakier Friday and Caught Stealing already at 3.8 and 3.2, I think Demon Slayer can beat them out for 5.
I
But
think
that is kind of a toss up between Freakier Friday. Like that's crossing my fingers and hoping Freakier Friday loses another 40% next week, and Demon Slayer can crack that 3 million.
Yeah, and the thing is, you make a really compelling case for it, and I actually think that you might be a lot more accurate than you think because you keep talking about toss ups and whatnot. I do disagree on a number of the picks, but I just see things a little different in terms of marketing for The Long Walk. My number one is The Long Walk. This is everywhere. We've talked about Lionsgate,
Yeah.
their media, the way that they have gotten audience members into seats, their whole thing with the members of, or like the viewers walking along with our characters throughout the 90-minute to 2-hour runtime. So I really think that will pay off. I've seen Stephen King say this is the best adaptation, or maybe that was. I feel like he did say it was the best adaptation he had seen, or one of the best of his books turned to movies. He really liked it. Is the gist of the story, and I just feel like I've seen a lot out of this film. So, and I know I'm more of the algorithms type, but I do think that this film will pop off. And my big reason for why Conjuring slides, and I'll tell you where that you see it on screen for our visual watchers, but for our audio listeners, I'll tell you where it's at in a second. But I feel like Conjuring will slide because if history this year tells us anything, horror movies are front loaded. People will go to see them and then they drop. And I'm thinking like, yes, Weapons and Sinners, and I don't even think Sinners is really a horror movie, but like Weapons is one of the not really following the trend, but when you look at films like, I'm thinking Alex Garland and I'm thinking 28 Years Later, that film did great in its first week and it tanked its second week. And I'm not insinuating that Conjuring will do that, but I think it will drop pretty heftily. So I just think that when you have The Long Walk, and then my second for me is Downton Abbey. Now, this is my toss up for me. This is kind of my long shot, because Downton Abbey does have its viewer base, and a lot of people talk about it. And I've seen it in theaters when I go watch movies. It's been advertised in theaters a lot. However, I haven't really seen it on socials a lot, which is probably, again, I'm not really the algorithms type in terms of Downton Abbey. I don't watch Downton Abbey, but I know a lot of people who do. And I know a lot of people who are super dedicated to this family. Like, people loved like The Crown when that was on Netflix. Downton Abbey is like reality TV. It's not reality TV, but it's like soap opera-esque version of that. It's not based off of, like, as far as I know, it's not based off of like reality, but it's like we talked about before the show, we were talking about like Bridgerton. Like, it's in that line where it's so like, it's almost fantastic when you like reminisce about a time like that, right? Like royalty and like posh British families. And there's a big audience for that. And I feel like with a finale like this is exactly what The Conjuring is banking on right now, and that's what they're succeeding with, is the spectacle that is the finale. So I feel like with the audience, with the finale, I think Conjuring being a front-loaded horror film like we've seen past this year, I think Conjuring slides to third. Downton Abbey finishes second. I don't think it'll be necessarily close. I think The Long Walk, in my prediction, The Long Walk will run away from competition. I think we'll see very similar to what we saw this week, where it's not going to be like 87-10 like it is this week between Hamilton and Conjuring. I think it'll be like 70-something to like 30-something, right? Like, it'll be something more in tune with that if I were predicting, which I am. So I think that it'll go Long Walk, Downton Abbey, Conjuring, and then fourth, I'm just sliding down. I think Weapons, which finished third this week, will finish fourth next week. And then I think Freakier will hold on to 5, because, again, if history tells us anything, those Disney movies, they're just stingy. They hold on. They don't go away. Not that Demon Slayer can't, because everything you said makes me be like, ooh, it makes me a little uncomfortable, because a lot of people do love Demon Slayer. So there's an opportunity for it to definitely take over Freakier, which will be in its 6th weekend. We will see.
Which I'll add on to Demon Slayer. I've been seeing a lot about like the trailer that they came out with, and so they're boasting that I don't know if it was the time that they spent on it, or that they had used tools, or they had used something, or I don't know. The Demon Slayer trailer alluded to the quality of the animation, and that's what a lot of people are talking about, is is such a high quality of animation that's like one of the more, like, if you like Demon Slayer, well, this is the chance to see it not only on the big screen, but better than it's ever looked.
Yeah.
And so that was something with the trailer. Like, everybody's freaking out about the trailer, not only from the characters that were in it, but because of the visual effects that they were doing. And so I can leave it off there. I don't think The Long Walk and Downton Abbey are going to make more than The Conjuring. I think it will slide. I think The Conjuring will slide, but I don't think it's going to slide to much less than 40 million. I don't think so. So that's why I've got it at the top. I don't think The Long Walk can pass 40, and I don't think Downton Abbey will pass 40 either. And so that's why I've got Conjuring at top.
I think you very well could be right, and I think you have a really good argument for it. I just feel like The Long Walk might have that lightning in a bottle. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know what it is. It's got the media spectacle with again, that screening. It's got a lot of press going on it. Stephen King's talking about it. You got Mark Hamill. I just think it's got the opportunity, is what I'll say.
I really, that's why I put it at 2. Like, it's gonna be a close one, I think.
Yeah, I really feel like it'll be somewhere in the middle. We'll both be wrong, but it will both be right about certain things. So I'm really excited. This is one of the more interesting weekends we've had in a while. So I'll be very interested to come back next week to hear who was right, who was wrong, and what we predicted accurately and what we mostly predicted wrong. So anyway, with that out of the way, that is the end of our first segment. So coming up after the break, we know what's next for James Gunn's Superman saga, and Activision signs with Paramount over cinema royalty for their Call of Duty adaptation. All this after the break. Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Screen. You made it to segment 2, in which we dive into the major news around Hollywood, cinema, entertainment, and beyond. So we've discussed some video games before, and we'll get to it with our second story in this segment. We're talking about them again. But first, let's hop back into the DC. We've talked a lot about James Gunn and his rendition, or his start to his storytelling in the DCU. With that, he has announced the sequel to his summer hit Superman, and it will be released July 9th, 2027, to the title Man of Tomorrow, which I feel like, wasn't that what this one was supposed to be called? Do I remember that correctly?
I am not sure. I was not following Superman very closely.
It went through a name change before it was just called Superman. If I remember correctly, the first was going to be called Man of Tomorrow before they switched it.
Superman Legacy.
Legacy. Okay, I was wrong. It was going to be called Legacy, and then, okay, I understand.
Yep.
So either way,
Sorry.
go through a name change. Man of Tomorrow is now in 2027's release. So last month, DCU creative figurehead James Gunn described how he already had plans for what he was calling the Superman saga while promoting the release of Peacemaker Season 2. As a reminder, Gunn told The Hollywood Reporter that he already had a treatment finished for the next installment into the Soup story, and that he's, quote, hopefully going into production on that not too far away from today. Now, this past week, Gunn, Superman actor David Cornsweet, and Lex Luthor actor Nicholas Hoult all took to social media to reveal not only their first sneak peeks for what might be the next film, might be the story in the next film, but also the name and release date, again, being called Man of Tomorrow and hitting theaters July 9th, 2027. These sneak peeks included a collection of drawings made by members of the DCU creative team and just overall DC creative team, with each piece all containing the same two subjects, that being Superman and a power suit adorned Lex Luthor. However, each depict a different action or set of circumstances between the two. The first, which was posted by Gunn himself, shows the two characters seemingly in a tension-filled treaty, as Lex is seen standing tall and firm in his power suit, with Superman calmly leaning against the villain, a screwdriver in hand, interestingly. This was drawn by Chief Creative Officer of DC Comics, Jim Lee. Following Gunn, David Cornsweet posted his own version of the image. We see Supes and Luthor, again, in his power suit, seemingly in the middle of, or prepping for, some form of battle. Undeniably, they are fighting against the same enemy. Whatever or whoever that may be, we don't know. This image was drawn by DC comic book artist Jorge Jimenez. And lastly, we see a post from Nicholas Hoult, whose drawing from DC comic book artist Mitch Gerads show the two characters themselves in conflict as Superman and Luthor sneer at each other, the former of which having seemingly thrown a punch, which is interesting to see Superman the one throwing first. Now that we know when the sequel will be released, and maybe some very vague details about the plot, we can step back and take a look at the greater story that Gunn and co-DCU head Peter Safran, what they're telling. Between now and summer 27, we have the conclusion of Season 2 of Peacemaker, which Gunn has stated that the John Cena-led series directly, and that's in quotation marks, leads into Man of Tomorrow. Then we have both Supergirl and Clayface, of which the latter we have seen early set photos for, and it looks interesting, and that comes out, and both of those come out next year. And something to note, again, I feel like the dude from Dexter, where he's just sitting there, the cop, who's like, I know he's doing it, but I can't prove it. Yeah.
Sergeant Dokes.
Yeah. I feel like him. But Matt Reeves' Batman Part 2 comes out the same year, just a few months later. What is the noise in Dexter when he goes like, yeah, that it's just me, but it's like I know it. What do we think?
Yeah. Isn't it crazy that TV show has come back so hard? Like, well, I mean, I don't want to get off topic too bad, but like, it's crazy how Dexter came back, and then they also come out with not only the story prior, but the story after too. One of them got canceled, but
I know.
I don't know. I find it so fascinating that like meme culture is revived. Like everybody now went and watched Dexter, I think, just because of the memes. But regardless, I don't know what side I'm on. I don't know if the Batman Part 2 is gonna be somehow connected to Superman. Like I think a lot of the things that I'm seeing from set photos compared to the Batman Part 1, I think they're stretches. Like most of everything that I've seen is a stretch.
Yeah.
like they're just grasping at straws. But like I really think it would work. But like I also don't think it would work. Like it's so, and that's like kind of the point is Superman and Batman are supposed to be like pretty drastically different. And so I think they're going to cast a new Batman It's not going to be Pattinson, and it's not. I don't think it's going to be in the same universe. So I think that's me actually taking a side and hopping off the fence, even though I think it would be cool to see them both. But I'm not into the whole universe stuff, and I haven't really been since like Avengers Endgame. I think Pattinson's Batman has a really good thing going for it, especially if they can secure part two. If they can secure part two, I think they've got like four locked down. Like I'm just skipping straight three. Four might suck, but I think if they get two right, they got four locked in. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, and the thing is that like I think you're right in the sense of it will more than likely be a new Batman. And for me, it's like what I'm I'm not a fence rider. I kind of know where I lie, but my opinion has changed, and we'll get there. And I feel like I've talked about it in recent weeks what I feel about it. But for me, it's probably not. Like I would, my sensible side of my brain is like it's probably not because they've released set photos of what Gotham looks like in Clayface, and it just doesn't look the same. Now the thing is, you could say Clayface takes place in years prior to Bruce Wayne becoming Batman, and like the logos could have changed, and the cityscape could have changed in a couple decades or something,
Yeah.
right? Because you used to say
There
Clayface,
were some building overlaps that were somewhat convincing. There were
right?
some set photos that had buildings of similar look, columns or like judicial
Yes,
buildings, but that was really the only thing
but
that.
you think, but Gotham's based off of New York. I don't think that that necessarily is a tell all. And if you look, what I had seen was like set photos of like the Gotham City Police Department like logo. They have it in the Batman, and they have it in some of the set photos for Clayface, and they're just not the same. So it's
Yeah.
like that could be something you're like, oh, time has passed, and they just rebrand it. Like that's a thing that happens in real life. And that could be a cool way to say, look, this is old, and here's new, and here's now, and like there are still so many ways. But my opinion changed, and I want to talk one why my opinion changed on Pattinson in the DCU, and two something to comment on in the general sense of audiences. So first, for me, it's kind of been like if you would have asked me 2 years ago, I'd have been like, man, just let Reeves tell a story and then leave it alone. However, the stitches of the parallels between Corn Sweat and Pattinson, their stories, those sold me on it because it's just like you talk about the polar opposites that the two characters like lie on. Seeing those stitches and seeing the way that they were in similar frames is like, oh, but you're right though,
And
because that is cool.
yeah. And can you attribute that to there being some kind of underlying conspiracy there, or is it just good filmmaking?
No, I am not saying that was done on purpose. I was just saying that the stitches of them together and seeing them on screen together is
Yeah.
like that's a cool that for me that was neat. I think that was just I think there's just ways to tell a story, and if you really looked hard enough in almost any film, you could probably find similar shots to do that with almost any movie. Not all movies, but almost every. So especially when you're pulling from the same genre, right? So I'm not saying that was done as a conspiracy. I will say it's weird that they reference a flood in Gotham when that happened in Matt Reeves, and then Matt Reeves. Anyway, I won't go down. I've talked about this at nauseum at this point, but what I want to talk about more, because that's why I'm like, ooh, that'd be kind of cool to see now that I've seen it. But something that is interesting about people buying in is the passage of time. And something that helps a Robert Pattinson if a Gunn wants to bring in a Reeves storytelling and a Pattinson is that we are not in 2022 anymore. In the sense of it took, even when it was first released, people were like, the guy from Twilight. Like that was a thing, was like, really?
The guy from the Lighthouse.
Edward Cullen and the guy from the Lighthouse is Batman? Like, and it looked cool when we saw the trailers, and it looked cool like leading in, but until you actually watched it, I don't feel like there was as much buy-in.
Yeah.
Then following it, people were like, no, we don't want Robert Pattinson as our Batman in the DCU. But the thing is, now we're 3 years later, people have had time to accept that he is Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched it when it came out.
Same. I saw it in theaters.
I saw it in theaters. It debuted. I might have seen it the second day that it was out. I think I saw it on a Saturday. Oh, it was awesome. I saw clips of him beating up the alley guys before going in, and that's like what sold me. I was like, dude, if they can keep that going, that was crazy. And ever since, like, he sold it to me. He's the gruff. He is the misunderstood, like the depressed. Not really the depressed Batman, really, because we have seen like comic books and other that he has been much more depressed.
Oh yeah.
But it does capture that that literally me like vibe, right? That Gosling vibe.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back at all the Batmans, and now Bale is the best, and I think close second is Keaton. And I think if you ask me tomorrow, I might flip him. Like to be honest, I love them both. But the thing about all those, from Val Kilmer to Batfleck, all of them, even Clooney and his silly one, when they're Bruce, they're cool, right? What I loved about Pattinson was he was emo. Like he was like, and you saw it's almost like you could see the weight of not just his mental health issues and his trauma, but you saw the weight of him carrying Gotham, and saving people, as he would put it. So it's like that I thought was really neat, and I liked that rendition.
And it's like the intro to him like doing it too.
Yeah.
It's like he's learning. He's not been doing this for many years, I don't think.
No.
I think it does mention in the movie that it's
2 years.
Maybe is it maybe 2 years that he's been doing this, and he's got a different look on it than like the traditional Batmans. Like he is trying his hand at it with little experience, and he's like learning along the way, and so he's not necessarily figured out the exact way to solve Gotham's problems. And I mean, we can argue that Batman never does solve Gotham's problems, but it's just, I can just tell that he's like somewhat new to it, and the way he's going about things and the way that he views the world is that like naive way of like, I have to instill fear, which is, I mean, Batfleck, going back to Batfleck, I mean, he instilled fear, and I would not hold Batfleck as that like very high. I don't hold him very high on my list of Batmans. A lot of people think he is the best Batman, not necessarily the best Bruce. And I'm like,
I bought Ben Affleck as an old version. I felt like the Zack Snyder take on him with the voice modifier and him killing people.
No.
I just felt like that was just, because the thing is that like I feel like the point of Bruce being Batman is he is just a guy in a cowl, and that's what makes him so freaking scary. And so it's like when you hear his just normal voice, and you know it's a person, but it's still mystifying, like he's still a myth almost. That's like that grounded versus like the mythos. So anyway, we're getting really deep in the woods here.
We are.
But Batman in Matt Reeves is in year 2 when the events of the Batman take place. Something else to keep in mind, I did look it up because I was curious what year, and I confirmed it. It was confirmed in the fandom, like the site, the like fandom site that has like all the different whatever for like comic book people and fun stuff. Do you know what Matt Reeves, the Batman, is called other than just the Batman series? Do you know what it's called?
Like Elseworlds?
Well, I mean, it's in Elseworlds, but what did James Gunn call Superman again? What did he call his Superman story? He called it the Superman Saga.
Is it Saga? Okay.
Do you know what it's called? The Batman Saga.
Oh, really? You're both calling them sagas? I think you're reaching.
I'm just gonna say that I don't think fandom would just pull that out of thin air, right? Like that just didn't come from nowhere.
It's not happening, Ryan.
I want it to happen. You know what? Sure, I'm reaching because I want it to happen because I've been convinced. And going back to general audiences, I feel like the passage of time and people seeing, we're talking about what makes Batman Batman. I feel like Reeves.
I'm not saying I don't want it to happen.
No, I know you're not. But
I'm just saying logically, I don't think it's going to happen.
I feel like Reeves putting Pattinson in the position he put him in because it really felt like the animated series, like an adult version of the 90s series that people adore. Yes, more gruff, a little bit more adult, but that's what it felt like. It felt like a good mystery, and you got to really grow and meet this character. And now that time has passed and people have just been begging for the follow-up, now that's why audiences are like, give me Pattinson in corn soups or whatever they call him.
Well, that and like the universe that is Elseworlds. I mean, you got the Penguin, you got the Riddler. Like these are, I think they belong in there. They don't feel out of place. Like sometimes you'll get like some absurd, like Danny DeVito type Penguin.
Sick.
But like
It was cool.
I feel like every character is meant to be, and like that's why I was super excited for Clayface to like, if it's part of Pattinson's universe, like I feel like that it makes sense. Like from the set photos I've seen and what I've heard about it, like yes, you can take it and make it a horror film all you want. Like I still feel like that would still have a place with Pattinson as the Batman in that universe. And I don't know if they can. I don't think they connect, or they're not going to outright say it. But like having a horror with Clayface still be within that universe. I think it has its place. And then I didn't like the Joker. I think the only one that stood out was the Joker
Barry Keegan
in,
or
in
Kogan.
Pattinson.
Yeah.
So, but that was a what is it? Not cut scene. It was the
Oh yeah, it was like a post credit.
post credit scene. They could do without that Joker, recast the Joker, and I don't think anybody would bat an eye.
I'm just gonna say it's weird that Gunn talked about Brave and the Bold, then all of a sudden he stopped talking about Brave and the Bold, then Batman got postponed, and then they referenced it, and then Reeves took forever to rewrite 2 because of something that happened, and now we've seen it referenced. Something that happened in Reeves' Batman is in talked about in Superman, and now it's just a lot of stuff's going.
Those variables make me raise an eyebrow.
Isn't that weird? Isn't that a little odd?
It's weird, but it could be coincidental.
Could be, but then all of a sudden now it's like, oh yeah, not only are we trying to get a Justice League movie going, we're not going to talk about Batman, but he's going to be there. We're going to get Wonder Woman. We're talking about Wonder Woman openly. Also, now the sequel to the film that was successful, it's also having another sequel for a film that's not going to be connected. I'm putting air quotes for our audio listeners, releasing 3 months afterwards. I'm just gonna say it is a little close. It's not like comic book creators, like people who adapt these to films. It's not like they've lied before, right? Not like they've just lied through their teeth to audiences. They've not done that.
No.
Never.
I think they're gonna cast Tom Holland.
They would never. Tom Holland, baby. I am vengeance. Anyway. We'll move on from Batman and Superman, and we'll talk about Activision. Because they were reportedly spooked, and again, that's in air quotes for our audio listeners, by Steven Spielberg's Call of Duty film pitch due to the legendary filmmaker wanting full creative control. Yeah, we're in for a doozy. This one and the next one, we're in for a doozy, but here we go. This past week, it was announced that David Ellison's Paramount had struck yet another massive deal in the early stages of his legacy brand ownership. Paramount has reached an agreement with publisher Activision to adapt the Call of Duty video game franchise into a live-action film or film series. Usually, this news alone is enough for us to cover by itself, as we've been covering the various moves made by Ellison and Paramount for what feels like ages at this point. Since the purchase had gone through from the FCC, we've talked about at least once a week Ellison, Paramount, and some deal they've made. And they've made some interesting ones, and this one is interesting. However, this news is heavily overshadowed by, as you heard in the lead-in, none other than Steven Spielberg, because in a report from the Hollywood media outlet Puck, which we've referenced sparingly but referenced before, the legendary director, quote, really wanted to direct the COD movie, end quote. The creative mind behind the classic World War II hit Saving Private Ryan is reportedly a huge gamer and loves the Call of Duty franchise in particular. However, reportedly within Spielberg's pitch to Activision, it included that the director would have full creative control of the project, and that included marketing, production, and the film's final cut. All this reportedly spooked Activision so badly that they went running to Paramount, the house that built Top Gun and Mission Impossible. As we have already alluded to, Spielberg has more than just a little history with creating war-based dramas in any medium, really. Outside of Saving Private Ryan, as Screen Rant points out, Spielberg also conceptualized and created the Medal of Honor video game franchise, which I did not know. I played as a kid. I had no idea that Spielberg was attached to that. But anyway, he helped create that franchise after his work on Saving Private Ryan. So he was inspired, wanted to do more, and hence was born Medal of Honor. This series, while focused more on World War II and education than modern warfare and the story, this franchise had spawned 11 installments up to date and since its 1999 introduction. The reason I bring this up is because Spielberg not only has the inspiration, the drive, and the proven track record to adapt this film, but he has deep industry knowledge on both sides of the table, that being video game and live action film. Something rare in today's media landscape. Usually when films are adapted, they do not have people who play the games, and you hear stories about how they played the games after being hired to make the game or the film. So this is a guy who has played the games, who has done film before in the realm of war and war action thriller, helped make a video game franchise based on war movies, or based on just war in general, and they went with Paramount. So with that, Jake, Did Activision make a mistake leaning away from Spielberg for the adaptation of their $30 billion video game franchise?
So every single Activision or so every single Call of Duty post that I've seen. So I don't know. Maybe I need to back up. There are 3 different companies that create Call of Duty. Every single year they rotate. So you got Treyarch, you have Activision, and you have
Infinity Ward.
Infinity Ward. Sorry, Infinity Ward. So um, Activision has been in hot water for a few different things. I think one of their
Blizzard. Yeah.
yeah, and Activision's been pretty rough too.
I
don't
think they
remember
got
the
in a
controversy.
little bit less trouble, but they bought Blizzard, and then it turned out that Blizzard was like assaulting people. It was like
Yeah,
not
yeah,
doing good
something like
stuff.
that. And then like the CEO of Activision was also not very good about something. Many a controversy. And then recently, Call of Duty has just kind of become like slop, like trying to compete with Fortnite and just doing really, really bad at trying to keep their feel, but also be as absurd as Fortnite. And it is really just muddied up for, I guess, like our generation. Maybe not so much for the younger generation who might buy into that a little bit more. But for us, it's kind of like playing Call of Duty now gives me a headache.
Yeah, there's a lot
So
happening.
and like I don't even get that for Fortnite, and then the movement, like just playing Call of Duty is an egregious task that like I don't even want to do it. Um so and to give a little bit to that is like you can microtransactions out the wazoo. So $20 will
Yeah.
get you a skin. You can run around like Nicki Minaj or Snoop Dogg or like literally name it. You can be them. Like I think they have oh, didn't they have like Beavis and Butthead added?
Yeah,
Like it's just crazy stuff, crazy stuff. And we're talking about like a shooter video game, a war video game, and you've got crazy skins like you would in Fortnite. At $20 a pop. So their main concern is squeezing these microtransactions. And so to make this come full circle with Spielberg wanting, among the other things, but like production and film's final cut, to ask for the marketing, not happening.
that was a
Not
lot.
happening.
That was a lot.
Activision would they would have never said yes to a lot of those things, but once he said marketing, I think they were immediately out. They are not giving up that, and it is very unfortunate that they have such a tight hold on that, and they think that that's like, and it's to give them credit. I mean, that is where they make the money. They make the money on the marketing, the microtransactions within their video games. It's a sucky world we live in that these Call of Duty diehards still give them money for slop. Like
Yeah.
I would call, like I am a Call of Duty hater at this point in time. I haven't bought a Call of Duty since I think Infinity War,
Yeah.
and I actually enjoyed Infinity War's campaign. I didn't care for the multiplayer, but the campaign had a very good story.
Yeah.
Um,
I can agree with that.
uh, I did not play Black Ops 3's campaign. I enjoyed Advanced Warfare's campaign. That was a very good story. I'm playing like these Call of Duties for their stories. And I actually really enjoyed Advanced Warfare's multiplayer. That was when they first introduced the new movement with the jetpacks and stuff. And so the next Call of Duty that comes out, all I see on their TikTok, their sponsored ads for the next Call of Duty is everybody in the comment section saying, who else is pre-ordering Battlefield 6?
Yeah.
Because that is the direct competitor to Call of Duty, and Battlefield 6 has had multiple beta tests. And people are treating it like a drug. People are like, so like when y'all sending out the new next beta, huh? Like when's the third week beta coming out, huh? You gonna make us wait till the full game or what? And and so I'm I think it's their imminent doom has been spelled out for them with Battlefield 6 coming out this year. Now, will Call of Duty go away? Probably not, but they're going to feel this hit. I think this Call of Duty's going to tank.
I think Activision has a hand in the making of this Battlefield. I think because people are worried about them ruining it.
Oh, really?
I think they do, and that's what people are talking about. Like, okay, while it's good, give me the itch now, because
Right.
and I could be wrong, but I really feel like I remember hearing that Activision is actively, or one of the three that you talked about. It might be Infinity Ward. They are active developers with whoever owns Battlefront or Battlefield. Sorry, and Freudian slip there. I love Battlefront, but like I think that like that's what I've heard around the internet is like Activision's gonna ruin it because they ruined COD, and right
Yeah.
now it's good. And so I going back in the just a little off topic comment, Infinity War, Ghosts, and Advanced Warfare were all fantastic. They
Yeah.
just were so different at the time that they got mad at it, and that makes me so frustrated because they were all great. And that's what that I think this is where getting back to the conversation, because we talk about Activision actively ruining their product. That reception to those three games is why Activision sucks right now. I will go
Well,
out on a limb and say that.
so there was a Sledgehammer as well. They
Sledgehammer
made
games.
Advanced Warfare, World War II, Vanguard, and Modern Warfare 3, which I didn't mind World War II. It was kind of eh. But Advanced Warfare was awesome.
They make the remake of
Infinity,
Modern Warfare 3?
but
Or did they make I think they made the original too.
so yeah, Activision forced out original devs from Respawn as well. So and Infinity Ward. So they bought up Respawn and they bought up Infinity Ward, and then they booted them, and now they're coming out with like the crap.
Yeah.
So
I really feel like the response to, and this gets to where we are now, because I feel like the domino effect of Ghost, Advanced Warfare, and Infinity War, like all fallen down, right? All those three being received as poorly as they were. Because again, I thought all three stories were fairly good. I think Advanced Warfare's was the best, followed by Ghost. I love Ghosts. However,
Yep.
the fact that they were not received very well led them to cleaning house and hiring the crew we got now, and that's how we got whatever. And unfortunately for us, they came out with Vanguard when the Fortnite, what is that called?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, when it's a
Battle Royale.
battle royale, that's what it is. Sorry, too many
We
battles.
started doing the
When yes,
Warzone.
when Warzone and Vanguard came out, that was during the height of the
Death of Call
Royale
of Duty,
kick.
in my argument.
And that
Death of Call of Duty.
those two things killed it. I think that the reception to those, so I'm blaming partially fans, because that
Yeah.
is what killed it. It's fan reception, then the battle royales hit, and all of a sudden now they're like, let's capitalize on it, and that's what people gravitated towards. And now that's why everything sucks. Long story short. And so now we're heading into this adaptation. Who doesn't like Steven Spielberg, right? This is a
Right.
guy who's coming off of an Oscar nominee less than 5 years ago with The West Side Story. This is the guy that literally made Saving Private Ryan, who has adapted video game content before with, I'm talking Ready Player One, which is a very video game inspired work of art in its own right. This was the guy. Like, I really feel, yes, I think marketing was too much, but if you have that type of guy in a room, you negotiate. Because from what it
Yeah.
reads, he wasn't leaving that table.
I mean, he's got so much underneath him.
So that's where I am, is like, I care, and this is where I'm worried about mostly, is the games we talked about up to this point. Not that I could care less about their adaptations. Outside of maybe the first Black Ops, the Modern Warfare series, they resonate so deeply with me because they were some of the first games I ever played.
Yeah.
The first one came out when I was like 6 or 7. The second one came out when I was like 9 or 10, and the third one came out when I was just becoming a teenager. And I don't think you find a better trilogy in terms of like first person shooter, because I know you can break up games into so many different whatever. You will not find a better first person shooter trilogy than the first the first Modern Warfare trilogy. They were each, even though Modern Warfare 3 was kind of a letdown, I feel like it was the perfect ending, the bookend to that story with Makarov.
Yeah.
When they adapt that, because that's going to be their, come on, Captain Price, Soap, Yuri,
Yeah.
like that's going to be what General Shepard, that's going to be your moneymaker.
Well, because those you're able to. I would argue that like if you tried to do it with Advanced Warfare, or if you tried to do it with even Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare. I've been saying Infinity because we talked about Infinity Ward. That's my bad.
I think they're already too cinematic. Like the movie's already been told. Just put the cutscenes together. Like
Yeah.
Advanced Warfare was a movie.
It was beautiful too, and it left off on a cliffhanger, and people hated it so much that they didn't.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah.
I was freaking out, man. I was like, no way, no way. We're gonna get more of this. Like, despite everything that's happened with Kevin Spacey and he was acquitted or the case was dropped or something like that. We're not going to get into the whole reasoning behind that. So I will still talk highly of Kevin Spacey because of his performances, but not necessarily necessarily as a person. But like
You're talking about
Baby
separate the
Driver,
art from the artist type stuff.
I because of the IPs that I know and love, one being Advanced Warfare and two being Baby Driver, Kevin Spacey did awesome in Advanced Warfare. I mean, he had me tricked 100%. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
dude, this Jonathan Irons guy, and sorry to spoil a
Give me
10-year-old
back my
movie.
arm and get me back in the field, brother.
Dude, that was so cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just like,
People who don't play
let
Call of
me
Duty,
let me let you in on something. I can get you an arm. I
these
can get you
people
an
who
arm
don't
if you
play
work for
games,
me.
dude, have no idea what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
No, not at all. And really, if you have the time and you want to watch like a okay war movie, go to YouTube and just look up Advanced Warfare cutscenes put together.
Just play the game.
Like, or you can play the game if you have a console and can find one for cheap. Find the game for cheap, which I think you can. I think you can get Advanced Warfare for somewhat cheap. I don't think it's worth. I think you'd be better off going to YouTube rather than trying to seek out a console and the video game. But I really think, like, I remember sitting on the edge of my seat. I almost replayed it. I started it again just to get that sense, and then I got distracted because I already knew everything. But
It's on Steam.
nostalgia baiting, man.
It's on
I mean,
Steam.
you gonna make me play it again? I'm gonna pull out the Xbox One.
No.
That's the last console I had.
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah.
we're gonna get way off topic here. There's a soft spot for the earlier Call of Duties. I was trick shotting on Black Ops 2, Xbox 360 with the best of them as a 12-year-old, thinking I was hot stuff, and just to see it crumble. I mean, Rome, right? It
Yeah.
fell.
Yeah. Dude,
So
Cliffhanger, the map for Cliffhanger in Modern Warfare 2 in multiplayer,
yeah,
couldn't see because of
now
a
we're just
blizzard.
reminiscing, folks.
Just running around in multiplayer, just hoping that a blizzard doesn't hit so you can see somebody.
Yeah.
Anyway, but my point is, I want to say, is it the correct combination of creative team, actors, with the production house that made Mission Impossible and Top Gun that could make this a good movie? Yes, but it's far less likely. There's a lot more variables in there than if you just gave it to the guy who made Saving Private Ryan and who plays the series. And no, like, that's, I guess it's like you streamline the process and you limit the percentage chance of having a bad movie and a bad adaptation when you give it to a guy like that, especially the guy who created the summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
Like, I feel
Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Jaws.
Like, I fear that they turned down the guy to accurately make or effectively make a good adaptation of a specifically Modern Warfare.
Yeah. You went from little to no chance of it failing to like it's almost 50-50 shot at this point. Like I trust Paramount to kind of take it far, but I don't think it's going to be a touchdown by any means.
We will watch this film in 3 to 5 years and we will say it's okay.
Well, it's going to I mean, we got to go back to video game adaptations too. I mean, yes, this is one of the bigger IPs we will have seen or will see, but video game movies don't necessarily do very well.
You're
So probably they're even going cinematic.
you're saying that in the year that a Minecraft movie popped off though for almost $1 billion.
I would argue that's different.
The Super Mario Bros. Movie, the
I didn't
Sonic
think that
franchise.
The Sonic one was pretty good.
I think you're right, but I will argue that I feel like this past decade we've seen a lot more video game adaptations hit. Like the Super Mario Bros. Is almost $1 billion, might be $1 billion movie.
Yeah,
I'm playing devil's advocate more than anything.
You are. It's gonna do okay, depending on the budget they sink into it, because they can sink a bunch of money into it. It could be several hundreds of millions to get this thing off the ground.
All I'm going to say is you're talking to the guy who's the epitome of daddy's money. I'm not talking poorly of David Ellison. All I'm going to say is that his dad was a big financer behind that. Was it $10 billion, whatever.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison is the second most wealthy man in the world. They could do that. They have no problem putting money in it. I don't worry about the money. The scope will be where it should be for a film like that called Modern Warfare, which is about World War III, right? Like they have the scope in terms of cash. It's the heart. It's the creator. I don't know. Any final thoughts, Jake?
I've got none.
I think that is a great stopping point. So coming up after the break, one of Hollywood's biggest what if gets a resurrection, last week's trailers, and what you should know before you go. Hello, welcome back to Beyond the Screen. You made it to segment 3. What you should know before you go finishes us out. Before that, we'll talk about one more big piece of media news, and this one is the doozy. The last story was a doozy. This is the doozy of the story of the episode, and then we'll finish you out with some trailers and what you should know. So I always start this segment by saying thank you for being here. I feel like our regular listeners are like, get on with it, but I would be remiss and I cannot go on without just thanking you for being here. You're always here over an hour if you're a regular listener going into segment 3, which we always yap too long about. But just the fact that you are here listening to us talk and that you allow us to have the fun that we have with just this show, we can have our opinions. We can talk about the latest video game adaptations. We could talk about the DC all we want. We could talk about AI, which is what's coming up. But the fact that you allow us to do that, especially not just something we're passionate about, not just something that we're educated about, but something we have fun with, is something that I just can't go on without saying thank you. Thank you to these two wonderful people who are here with me to helping me making this a reality. It doesn't happen without you at home or without Jake or Emily here. So I'm just very, very, very thankful that we're here doing this every Monday night. So thank you. Like, subscribe, follow, comment, share, do the whole 9. If you are a listener, if you enjoy this, come back next week. Flood our comments. Tell us what you think. And other than that, we'll go ahead and get on with the show. Our final. Tell your cousin. Every week we try to find a new family member, and this week is cousin.
Don't say it like
Tell
that.
your cousin.
Oh my God.
The one you haven't called in a long time, and you're like, man, I wonder how that guy's doing. And then
He should listen to this podcast.
Yeah, he's gonna answer the phone. He's gonna be like, hello? And you're gonna be like, hey man. And there's gonna be this really awkward pause. You could be like, what? And you're gonna say, I have this podcast you should listen to. And then he's gonna hang up. But then you're gonna text him a link.
And he's not gonna click it.
But you sent it out. But you sent it out. You've done your job.
Yeah.
And that's all we can ask for. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll move on.
Thank you so much for sharing with your cousin.
Yeah, thank you. Cousin. Anyway, our final story, the Magnificent Ambersons, the lost film by one of the forefathers of modern cinema, Orson Welles, to have lost footage resurrected by Amazon-backed company named Showrunner. Again, this is a doozy. This past Friday, September 5th, AI company Showrunner announced that they were using the technology to help recreate 43 minutes of destroyed footage from one of Hollywood's biggest what-ifs. Again, this company is backed by Amazon, and it's named Showrunner. They use AI to allow users, apparently via Discord, which is just so odd, to play Showrunner, and that is from their website verbatim. They're like, I play Showrunner. You get it? Anyway, they allow users via Discord to use their AI to create narratives from the bot named Fable. So think ChatGPT, but for narratives, and the way, which is spooky, but the way that they describe it is just type in a few words, and this is from the Hollywood Reporter, is type in a few words and get a show. Get like a 20-minute animated feature from Fable in Discord using whatever, so you can create your own shows. So again, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Showrunner CEO Edward Sachi says his company is becoming, quote, the Netflix of AI, in which users can interact with and make fan fiction-esque versions of the intellectual property they're watching, which I thought was a very strange way to put that. Going back to the
Strange way of
magnificent...
putting copyright.
Say what?
It's a strange way of putting copyright.
Yeah, just make fan fictions.
They're fan fictions, guys.
This is gonna. I was gonna save this for after, but now that you've brought this up, it's gonna be Wattpad for AI. That's what this is gonna be. He aimed for Netflix and he hit Wattpad. It's like it's like
Wattpad mentioned in the big 2-5.
dude is playing darts with one eye closed and he threw it and he hit a bullseye in the board 3 rows down. Is what happened here. Anyway, I'll continue. Going back to the magnificent Ambersons, this will be showrunner's first endeavor into the space of Hollywood. Still, according to The Hollywood Reporter, the firm is partnering with creator named Brian Rose, who in the last 5 years has been working to recreate the framing and timing of each scene in the film, in the Lost film, based upon the script. This work has involved recreating 30,000 missing frames from physical 3D sets, set photos, and more. This work from Rose will feed the AI on top of traditional filmmaking techniques like refilming the scenes with live actors, then having the AI use, quote, face and pose transfer techniques to preserve the likeness of the original actors in the movie. After all this, you might be asking, wait, what happened to the original 1940s footage to begin with? The answer is simple. Very simple. After filming in 1941, original owners RKO Pictures, now they're now defunct, which is shocking, right? They took Orson Welles' 131-minute cut, and because they owned control of the final cut, removed around 44 minutes of footage without the director's knowledge. You would be forgiven for thinking, but they just cut it from the film, and it's just lost media, which lost media is recoverable. And again, you'd be right. However, dear audience, RKO didn't just cut the footage. This is 1942. This is physical real, and it's physical space that takes up. They destroyed it so they could have vault storage.
Yep.
Let's let that sink in. The creator of Citizen Kane, Fire. The creator of Citizen Kane had his film cut by a third, and instead of saving it, they burned it.
Yep.
They went on to release the other 2/3. What ended up being 87 minutes. And it was hailed by critics. Even The Hollywood Reporter back in 1942 was like, this is Orson Welles, this is fantastic. But it would go on to become the biggest what if, with some people saying this is the best film that never got released. This could have been the best film of all time. But we'll never know because RKO cut it. So, back to showrunner. Their upcoming, what they are calling reconstructed version, they will be showing to very limited audiences. So for those who might be interested in watching this film once it's finished, tough luck. Because guess who showrunner has not talked to? Warner Brothers, who owns the rights to all of Orson Welles' films. So even though they're putting all this work in, they're taking this poor man's 5 years of work to try to reconstruct this set so that he could recreate these lost 40-something minutes. They have not talked to the people who actually own the film. So, going back to CEO Edward Sachi, he would go on to tell The Hollywood Reporter, quote, the goal isn't to commercialize the 43 minutes, but to see them exist in the world after 80 years of people asking, might this have been the best film ever made in its original form? Yet, he would also emphasize that if there was an audience for it, that they would more than take ownership of the project and insinuated that they would work towards finding a way to releasing the project. Jake, this is it's a winding story with a lot of moving pieces and unfortunately complicated history. How do we think showrunner's endeavor will end, and what might it mean more broadly for entertainment as a whole?
I want to know what they're going off of to even recreate 43 minutes of footage. I mean, that's a lot to lose. And so I guess there's a script that floats around. And then you kind of already know with the first 90 minutes of the film, kind of what it looked like and the characters in it. So maybe theoretically you can come up with the rest, but I mean, it's thin air at that point. I mean, you're AI generating 40 whole minutes
Yeah.
of footage, um, or at least trying to, right? I mean, did you say he was building sets, or this was
So
strictly AI?
Brian Rose, he's a filmmaker who the last 5 years has been going off of set photos, the script,
Yeah,
and I guess he watched which you could find, and it's
yeah.
on streaming platforms. Let me find the one that it's on. It's on Plex, which I've
Oh,
heard of Plex.
wow.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
there, and so there's ways to watch this movie. It's not like
yeah,
this is hidden media. So people are watching what was released. He's using the script and set photos of what wasn't released and what was cut. For our viewers, this was from the Hollywood Reporter, and this is a shot before we cut to what is now their poster. What is eventually going to be the look of the AI. So I think what they're saying is, and their thoughts are, with what they have from the 87 minutes that is released and widely spread, with Brian Rose's work to recreate the sets using 3D, like literal 3D space, using actors and AI technology and green screen technology, maybe some CGI. The thought is, if they can build the shot list, if they can use the script, if they can use the set photos, they can recreate it and feed an algorithm to pop out what would have been. But the thing is, I feel like that's almost impossible.
mm.
Like, you're never going to get 100%, because the thing is, we'll
No,
never
well,
know.
well, he's dead, right?
Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
around.
Well, so like, if you have a script, you have set photos, and you like, there's nothing necessarily stopping someone from actually filming it for real. Like AI's place in this is because these guys don't have um, movie budget,
Yeah.
likely. Like, you're building sets and having actors. I'm like, you're so close to it just being a straight movie, but you're not gonna get Orson Welles's like idea of how it should be edited. So it don't matter what shot you get. When Orson wants to cut, you'll never know,
Yeah.
because nobody ever is Orson. So um there it is. Like, can AI extrapolate how he would have done it based off of clues on how he did prior films? Because there's no such thing as randomness when it comes to a human. So every cut had to have a purpose in Wells's mind. Um, and so it had to have been some kind of pattern or reason behind these shots. And so it's likely that you could find close enough utilizing AI as to how you might cut it, but I don't think it'll ever be perfect in that sense. But everything that you said to me is like, why hasn't this done sooner? There's got to be a level of buy-in from somebody with money
Well,
to be like, if
Amazon.
you have, I mean, yeah, well, if you have a script, I mean, there's nothing necessarily stopping you from making the best film Lost to Time if you have a script.
The problem is that when you think of those old time directors, like, for those, like, we're film students, so we've seen Citizen Kane.
Yep.
Citizen Kane is 3 movies cut expertly into one narrative. That is, there's a reason that if you ever watch Citizen Kane, it is so nostalgic, and it's not just nostalgic, but it's super cliche. A lot of people our age, when they watch it, they're like, "This was just the most cliche film of all time," and the reason
That's
for
because
it created the cliche. Like, it is the originator of everything. Like, a lot of ways, even movies today, like, you've got, in my mind, you've got 2 people that framed film, or 3, I'll say 3. 3 people who framed film the way they are today. It's Hitchcock, it's Wells, and it's Spielberg. Hitchcock and Wells set the infrastructure so Spielberg could create the blockbuster, right? So it's in my mind, it's just my quick opinion, not looking at a list of directors. It's those 3 that really formed modern film today. In saying that, when you watch Citizen Kane or anything, even a Hitchcock, they are very meticulous. Like, that, you could tell that it's just the way they see the world is how they film. It's not just it's a Nolan, or it's a whatever. It's a Zach Cregger's. You could tell. Like, yes, you could tell, but there's something just, it's almost like OCD about their shot selection. How can an AI create that? From nothing. You have 87 minutes and you have set photos. So there will always be that asterisk.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll never be perfect. I agree with you on that. Um, but yeah, and also Wells acted in his films as well, and so I don't know if you can even try. I mean, you could probably extrapolate mannerisms and do your best based on prior footage, but you don't know how he would have acted in that last 40,
No.
really. But
Off
you could
topic.
try to base it off the first one. But
Off topic. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. You cut out for
Um,
me. I apologize. If you ever want to see a director today who I feel like is sort of reminiscent of that time of director or that type of director, David Fincher. Watch David Fincher, but specifically watch Mank, starring Gary Oldman. It is about the writing of Citizen Kane, and you see an actor portray Orson Welles, and he does a very good job. But I just find it really interesting in how the story of Citizen Kane became a thing and how there's always drama with this, like between the War of the Worlds, the radio play that scared a nation into fleeing because they framed it like a broadcast. And back in the day, you got your news via radio, and if there was no one who heard the beginning saying this is fictional, so they tuned in to what sounded like a real broadcast during World War I or II, and they were like, with aliens. So like this is a guy who's always got controversy. And it's really interesting to see he died in 1985 at 70 years old. 40 years later, he is still in the headlines, causing some drama.
Yeah.
Anyway. Any final thoughts, Jake?
I have none. I'm excited. I doubt Warner Bros. Will give it to him, though.
So the elite will know if it was worth creating.
Ah.
We'll move on to our trailer segment. We've got 4 for you this afternoon, this evening, or this night, depending on when you're watching, maybe this morning. The 4 are Wuthering Heights, 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, Chad Powers from Hulu, and Wake Up Dead Man at Netflix. We'll start with one that I got some heat for throwing in here from our lovely, lovely editor, Jake. Wuthering Heights.
Falling,
I can follow you like a dog to the end of the world.
fall in love. Falling,
Are you feeling quite right?
What? Oh, yes, fine.
Did not realize Jacob Elordi was 6'5". He walked through that door, and I was like,
Dude, put that thing away. They're like children here.
wow. That was brilliant for our audio listeners. When I sent that, I put that in the script today, and Jake got to it this afternoon before we recorded, and she sent the scene from SpongeBob where Patrick is sitting on the beach and his stomach's out, and that fish walks up to him and is like, "Put that thing away," and he's like pointing at his stomach, and in reference to me putting this trailer in, and there are kids here, and she went out and made the meme. It's my face on a fish in the trailer. That was brilliant. I do not feel bad. Only because I feel bad for you, Jake, because you had to sit through it however many times. I don't feel bad for putting it in there because this is what people are talking about. And I have a suspicion that is not my own. It's not original. It's from Rosie, who we're all friends with. She is a fantastic person, close friend of ours. We and her were discussing the trailer a little bit when it first came out. And there's a theory that she has that she saw on the internet. And I'm interested to get your opinion on it. But before now that we're recovering from that amazing spectacle that was the meme, that was awesome. I love the surprises. I didn't realize Jacob Elordi was that tall. He's 6'5", and 2, he does not look convincing. He looks like he's got a fake beard on, and it might even be his real beard, but he got a good shot of him coming through that door, and I was like, you just look like an actor. You don't even look like you're
Later on in the trailer, he does shave. He becomes a nobleman. Yeah, he wears like very nice clothes later on. But the whole joke of this is we keep alluding to it, but this is my take of not knowing what the heck this movie is, other than watching the trailer once, and I decided, and I chopped the first part and sent it on as the trailer we would show today, because there's I would closely attribute this film to a medieval 50 Shades of Grey. That is my hot take. Take it how you will. This was a very sensual trailer that I did not feel comfortable showing the majority of on this podcast. And I'm usually like, I don't know, like, it doesn't bother me as someone who doesn't have a podcast or like would just see it in passing, and I'd be like, I'd have the same take, but I wouldn't be as harsh on it as I am now that I have control over kind of the trailers that everybody sees. I When I tell you that I probably wouldn't or couldn't put a lot of that trailer into the podcast, I'm not lying. A lot of it is
Yeah.
very
Graphic.
graphic, and not in a gory, bloody type of way. If you catch my drift, so I don't think it's a hot take, but some others might. It is 50 Shades of Grey, but with a corset and several layers. If that makes sense.
I give him the laugh track. Something that's interesting. One, I did look it up because I was curious about something, and I'm not quoting Wikipedia for the sake of accuracy. I'm quoting it because this is a funny line. It describes it as an upcoming gothic erotic psychological drama, which is a weird coalition of words back to back to back to back. But either way, what was
He saw
interesting,
Nosferatu and was like, "Yeah,
I can do better.
I
But
can get into this."
what I found interesting was when I was talking to, again, our colleague, our friend that we love dearly. She was discussing what she had seen online, and something that she pointed out was that the title's in quotation marks. Why is that? Because most of the time it was released by Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is the distributor. Most of the time you don't put quotation marks around titles when you're doing a trailer. The theory online is that Margot Robbie is not actually a 18th century like woman, like from wealth, who's falling in love. She's reading the book and she's putting herself in that, and that's what you're seeing. That's the theory.
That's crazy.
That's the theory
That's
online.
That's pretty good.
And that's why it's in
good.
quotation marks, is because it's not actually an adaptation. It's an adaptation of someone who's reading it and putting themselves in it.
Gotcha.
Which is the
No, that's funny.
yeah, that's a
Let
theory.
let it pull us out like they do in Princess Bride.
Yeah.
With the granddad. Dude, that would be crazy. She's like reading it in a coffee shop and it's like, "Lady, are you all right?"
Yeah.
We're gonna see the actual like on-screen stuff of like middle-aged women reading 50 Shades of Grey in public spaces. We're actually gonna see that on the big screen now for this. It's gonna be Margot Robbie being pulled out into reality, gooning, just straight gooning in public spaces. I think that would be great.
Which the thing is, when she said it, I was like, okay, that would be an interesting concept because it worked so well in The Princess Bride, and we don't really see it other than that. I don't know many films where they've taken that approach. If that is the case, I think that it has something interesting. And there were she was using some examples and some evidence of something in the full trailer, which I necessarily didn't pick up on, but she said that she saw it, and some other people online were, I don't even remember exactly what it was, but I found that to be very interesting because she's right. There are quotation marks on the film. Is that an accident? Like they had some intern post it and they just happened to, but that's what I'm saying. It's like that doesn't happen. So why are there quotation marks? Because stuff like that in branding and marketing, that's not accidental. So she brings it up and it's a good point.
What portion of the movie did she point out?
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember. But the thing is, another thing she pointed out too was that, like we were discussing before the pod, this is very OnlyFans-esque. Yeah, I can't say the actual word because we will get in trouble. But it's very adult.
The other part of the film industry we don't talk about.
Yeah. And the thing is that Wuthering Heights as a book is not that.
Two in a
Two.
row.
Got a double. But no, the original, the way that it was described to me is not, the book is not that way. It is not very like not to say it's not romantic, but it's not very sensual and very explicit. So it's interesting that it is now in the movie.
Got you.
Are we going to see it, Jake? 3, 2, 1. No.
Probably not.
Not us. Not us.
I'm not on book talk.
Love Margot Robbie. I think she's a talent, but no.
There will be some fellas that
Oh,
go watch
yeah.
that.
I'm going to go see that.
I knew if I tried hard enough for a third laugh that I'd get sent to the corner.
Yeah.
But we can move on.
The next trailer we have is for 28 years later, The Bone Temple.
Oh, what is this? I cannot see. Oh, I am deaf. None can excel.
Many of the things we take for granted will one day pass away completely.
I open the door of heaven and hell.
When that time comes, men will no longer communicate.
Whoa. Crazy.
The
He's gonna
marketing,
touch a rage monster.
the marketing for these films are almost better than the actual film.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just think about the reception to the first 28 years. It was earlier this year. It's like, again, it was my example for The Conjuring and why it would fall. It's exactly what happened. Is people were like, "This is weird," and they left. But the thing is, the marketing for the first 28 years was great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That first trailer to the boots.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was insane. I showed that to my coworker just to be like, "Yo, look at this editing to this song. Like, it was crazy." And this has a whole different kind of like style or way of editing in this trailer. But it's still really good. I mean, it tells the story quickly, to the point, and like now we get to see into the world of this guy who, I don't know if in the last 28 years if he was, I mean, he's an antagonist, I would assume, but now we kind of get to see into him.
Yeah, he
What
was
he's
more
doing.
into the culty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he's definitely cultish. I mean, I'm sure he's the one behind the Bone Temple.
yeah, he's Ray Fiennes is the character, the actor behind the character we're talking about.
Yes.
Voldemort himself.
Uh,
It
And wasn't he in Kingsman? Was he in Kingsman? No, he wasn't.
I don't think Kingsman, but he was in The Menu.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, he's a chef.
Good one. Ryan
What?
hated that.
Well, I didn't hate it. I thought it was great. It just didn't stick the landing. I thought the ending was just a little bit. Why didn't you like my food? I don't know. She's like, I don't know. I didn't like it. And he's like, what do you want? She's like, a burger. And so she makes, she said it just like that. Anya Taylor-Joy is like, a burger. So he makes the burger. And you know what she does to him? God, rage baiting. Lex Luthor took notes. She went, I'm not hungry. And then he burned the whole island to the ground.
She got a takeout, dude. She got out. That was the point.
I'm not hungry. I know it was the point. It was just funny. I just was like, oh. Like, okay.
I thought it was interesting.
It is. It's fun, but it was also I don't know. It just wasn't for me.
I thought it was crazy that it worked. Her getting out by asking to take out.
I think it's funny because it's like this guy's obviously a sociopath, and he's like,
Yeah.
I gotta honor the code.
Yeah.
She got
I'm a
takeout.
chef.
She got takeout.
Yeah.
I gotta
She
honor.
asked for a box, and I gave it to her.
Speaking of Lex Luthor, literally Nicholas Hoult was her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he did
Yeah.
great in that too. Anyways, off topic. Back to Ray Fiennes in the Bone Temple. I don't want to get hurt again because I really thought 28 years was going to change my life. It just wasn't. It was good, but it just was weird.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like this one will paint the new one in a new perspective once we see more story.
Nah, probably not. So
Any further thoughts?
no, because I didn't watch the first 28 years because it Zombies do a thing for me. I can't do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I haven't seen Walking Dead.
I forgot you don't like zombies. That's okay.
Yeah, kind of. Nosferatu kind of did me in with that too, but I stuck it out because Ryan.
One of my favorite memories from that is they were with Lily Rose Depp. Willem Dafoe's like, we got to do some bloodletting, and I was like, I hate like blood. It just gross. I'm fine with gore, but it's like excessive amounts of. There's certain things that just do me in. It's like bloodletting as a medical practice is disgusting. And I guess it's like the idea of like the life, you can feel the life draining out. Like that part of it, like that just makes me like, I don't know what it is. It gets me. So as soon as he picked up her arm and he had that poker, I was like, oh God. And I turned and I just happened to turn towards where Jake was sitting. And I watched his reaction because he was like, bloodletting.
I did not know what it was.
He was. I could see it in his face. He's just like, why is this guy reacting? And I watched him go for our visual. You'll see, but for our audio listeners, I think the audio will paint it. I watched him go, oh, like I watched him squirm and go, oh, and I was like, yeah. I hate that stuff. So anyway, brought up Nosferatu, and I thought that was a funny memory. Anyway, third trailer is Chad Powers.
You were showboating and you blew the game.
They can't get him. This is insane.
It's time for you to move on.
There's just one problem, Dad. I'm not done with football.
South Georgia's having open tryouts. I'm gonna do a Mrs. Doubtfire, but with football.
So you see I got a funny face.
Who's 200?
That was one hell of a performance. You can take your helmet off. I'm gonna leave it on. Why? You know, in this helmet, I feel strong. Like a strong, powerful male.
So there's a lot that I fear the two people in this call will not. You guys aren't sports fans.
I remember when that happened. Didn't that happen? That exact thing.
It was a joke. So that
joke?
didn't actually happen, and so it did happen. It was a real thing that did happen, but it was a prank. It was for a commercial. So
sorry.
Chad Powers. Oh no, Chad Powers is the name of a fictional character made by Eli Manning. So Eli Manning is, most people will know the name Peyton Manning. Eli Manning is the lesser famous younger brother of Peyton Manning, who was also a quarterback in the NFL, who arguably had just as good, or some would argue, a better career than Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is the better quarterback. I'm not here to argue with football fans. I know Peyton Manning is a top 5 quarterback of all time, and Eli is not. However, argue with the wall. Eli was with the Giants his whole career and won just as many Super Bowls in a faster amount of time and beat Tom Brady's undefeated Patriots team. I don't care. I will say it. Anyway, Eli Manning retires.
With a wall.
Eli Manning retires. And I don't remember who the promotion was with, but he put on that long wig that you see him, like that blondish wig and the mustache. He actually put that on, and he went to a real practice, and he said he was a walk-on at a smaller group of 5 college football team. And he's Eli Manning, who is a Hall of Fame quarterback who just retired, so he's still in shape. And he did exactly what you saw Steve Zahn oogling at, but the coaches were in on it, right? It was a prank on the players. So it was like Eli Manning shows up as Chad Powers, and he just starts slinging that thing. And he threw a 70-yard bomb, and the clips are just all these young 20-something-year-old players oh my God, this guy's a walk-on. So it was really funny. And he did it multiple times. It was this big joke. So they took that concept and they made it fictional, and they were what if so that's why Glenn Powell is that's who Chad Powers is that's a fictional character so if you saw the trailer, Glenn Powell, I don't know his character's name, the name of the character he plays, his real name, but he's a quarterback at Oregon in the college football playoff playing against Georgia. And the biggest sin you could commit on a football field is you can fumble the ball before you cross the goal line to score a touchdown. So you've seen this happen, and it gets clowned on in the world of sports. If you are running across the field and you're about to score, a lot of people throughout the history of football, they go to celebrate and they just drop the ball before they score, which is something you think wouldn't happen, but it happens a lot more than you think anyway. So he does that in the biggest game of the year, and I guess according to what we saw, he loses. So then it's like,
So in the full trailer, this was a tied game in the last.
yes,
Georgia picks it up and runs it all the way back and wins the game.
yes,
And this happens in the trailer.
yes,
But go watch the full one if you want to see how that works. But yeah, they end up losing
yes.
that big game because of the fumble.
So because of that, for our because I know this is a film pod, so I don't want to leave our film people out for those who are watching this and don't know what he did. He committed a big atrocity, and I'm assuming that he's like an upperclassman, maybe a junior or senior, and his dad's like, you got to walk away because you're done. Like, you're not going to go to the NFL. He's like, I don't want it. And I love the Mrs. Doubtfire reference. And so then he pulls a Chad Powers and walks on at a small school, but it's not a joke. He's trying to actually be Chad Powers so he can keep playing football.
Well, it's likely that all the colleges dropped offers, I would say, and he's being a bum at home for probably, several months to a year. He probably took a gap, and then whatever Georgia college was taking open walk-ons.
Yeah.
I think that's the story here.
Yeah, and the thing that's just not realistic. If he's a quarterback at Oregon, and he's leading a team tied in that late in the game in the college football playoff, and he's about to win, and he was a half step away. Yes, it's dumb, and yes, he probably would transfer out, but there would be a school there, and so like I would hope that he was a senior, and that's why is that like he's like this can't be. I can't, like, the NFL doesn't want me. I'm not good enough for that, but I'm good enough. Like, I know I'm good enough for college, and I have no eligibility left, but I want to keep playing. So he fakes his way.
No.
Just for realism. But that's just me being very picky.
Some people hate Glenn Powell. Or hate as in like they just don't like the way he looks. I've seen some people say he looks like a capybara.
I like capybaras.
Yeah, well.
Did you know? I didn't know this. I have to rewatch the Chris Nolan.
Did you know?
Did you know? He was in Chris Nolan's which one was the second with Heath Ledger? What was that called? The Dark Knight. Did you know that? You know when Heath? No. Yes, it was Heath Ledger. You know whenever Heath Ledger's like walking into the bank. This might be Tom Hardy actually. Oh yeah, it was the third one. It was with Tom Hardy. It wasn't Heath Ledger. When he walks into the stock exchange and that one guy's like, "Sir, this is a stock exchange," and he bangs the guy's head into the desk. That was Glenn Powell.
Yeah, he was in some earlier stuff that not a lot of people remember him being in. But.
It was Tom Hardy. It was definitely Bane that did that. But yeah, I saw that recently and I was like, I had no idea, had no clue.
That guy.
Yeah, but anyway, back to Chad Powers. I think this is gonna be hilarious.
It's got potential to be funny. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be anything crazy. What was that last one he did with that like romantic? Where he was when he was spying, or he was a cop, or no, he was undercover something.
I'm looking.
I watched. Okay,
he was in Twisters last year. Oh, the Running Man.
He played a hitman.
Yeah,
and then the Running Man's coming out soon. That's coming out in the next. It's coming out soon. Sorry, I keep saying that.
That would be fun. That's by.
Sorry, guys. We're going all the way back to segment 1 here.
No, it's okay.
Running Man. I guess it's not coming out soon. I lied, folks. I lied.
Running Man is directed by. Oh, what's his name? I can see his face. He did.
November 7th. Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright. That's who I could not think of the name. Edgar Wright. I love Edgar Wright. Yeah, he's directing Running Man with Glenn Powell. But either way, looks fun. I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah.
Anyway. And our last trailer, and arguably the most exciting one, is Wake Up Dead Man.
This murder was dressed as a miracle. But what happened that night is a much, much larger scheme. To understand this case, you need to look at the myth that's being constructed. A man gives a sermon. He then, in plain sight of everyone, walks into a sealed concrete box. And 30 seconds later, that man is lying dead. A classic, impossible crime.
Okay, you're freaking me out now.
This is a holy mystery. Unsolvable.
Holy shit.
Sorry. What the hell happened?
We do not know. What is truth? We don't know that. We don't. What exists? Does any of this exist? So,
What is even happening right now?
It is time to discover what this flock of wicked wolves is hiding.
Confess.
All right, stop.
Oops.
We gonna talk about Josh Brolin's comments about this film?
We're not going to talk about how I uploaded the full trailer by accident.
That's okay. I'm ignoring it.
We're ignoring it.
We got about halfway through, and I was like, "This is long."
Yeah, that's my fault. I might have named them the same thing.
It's okay. Anyway,
It's all right. But are you guys not entertained?
don't sue us, please.
Movie reference. So that means we have to go extra hard on the controversial opinions on this trailer.
I ask again: are we talking about Josh Brolin's comments about
What's his comments?
this film, the one that I accidentally sent into the group chat after you had sent it and you made fun of me for it?
Oh. Are you gonna say what he said about
Not verbatim.
He said that this film was like one of those OnlyFans level events. No, yeah, but I'm not kidding.
Sexually charged comment is what he said.
Group sexually charged.
Yeah,
comment.
he said it was
Get what I'm
like
saying? He
that.
said this film on set reminds him of a group, a party, if you will,
Book club, but with no books.
or clothes.
That's what that's what this man was referencing. We got pretty close. I could sense Emily hovering over the censored corner. I could feel it. I know she was getting close.
Not
She's
happening.
waiting for us to say
So, I find that it's so every actor that has said something has said that this is like awesome, super awesome. And you've been pointing out that it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, right?
the first
so
review.
far.
11 reviews come in so far, and they all are 100%.
So, I mean, it's likely to go down when it gets a wide release, but this is awesome to hear because I don't remember. I actually don't remember Glass Onion in its first few reviews or how it was doing right before it came out. But that's what I thought, and it kind of followed through with that meh mindset. Now you've got, I mean, Daniel Craig's reprising. What is it?
It's actually reviewed a lot higher than I thought, but continue.
So you got Andrew Scott, as Emily has pointed out, she's watching it just for him. He did Moriarty in the Sherlock series, and he was awesome. Crazy fella. Played that character perfectly. You got Jeremy Renner, Mila Kunis. You've got Josh Brolin, and freaky Josh Brolin at that. Kerry Washington, and I mean, big names here as always. But I hope it can pull it out. I hope that this one redeems itself from number 2. Even though number 2 was okay, just meh. Number 1 was awesome. I love number 1. And I'm not just saying that because of Chris Evans. That's why. That's the person. So number 3, I have high hopes for it now that I'm actually hearing some reviews. I was skeptical, right? Remember back several episodes ago, we were kind of like, I don't know, but it looks pretty good. I still don't know necessarily who it is. Maybe this time it was Benoit Blanc.
I'm very happy. This is what I'm excited about. They're going away from the wealthy. because the first one, it was the famous author and his family, all wealth. The second one was Edward Norton and his character as like he owned the private island and he was like,
There's a different was it
motive.
motive? Yeah, I was gonna say method. There's a different motive here.
Yeah, it's not money. And so it's like that.
Something else to gain.
It feels down to earth, which is what I'm really excited about. It seems a little bit more gritty. I love everything Benoit Blanc. I love the portrayal of like the genius who just loves a mystery. Like that, like, and I feel like we got a lot of that already here. Something that I'm really excited about that it just seemed, and now I could be wrong because we just seen a trailer. Jeremy Renner seems to be in the Chris Evans and Edward Norton's like archetype, where it's like not just comedic relief, but a little bit more skeptical, a little bit more sarcastic, a little bit more bite to every word he says, especially in regards to Blanc. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I honestly, because I know Andrew Scott's track history, I don't want to like call it out and say he's the one who did it, but like I feel like he could pull it off really well as being the one who did it.
Yeah.
And that's just because I know what he's done and know how well he plays a villain.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know. I don't know what I think yet, but I think he'd play a great antagonist regardless.
I just hope it's crazy. I just hope it's really like, I don't want to say intense because it's Knives Out, right? So there's going to be some comedy, but I really want to see, Benoit Blanc challenged. I want to see him like, I want to see him like really have to put some thought and really have to work because he didn't really have to do that in the last one.
Right.
There was just a lot of like,
it was given away, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like, well, it was a lot of internal conflict, and yes, he was solving the mystery, but it's just like the second one was just like, oh yeah, by the way, Benoit Blanc is actually a genius. Like the first one, he was really challenged, but like he had it figured out. The second one was just showing off his genius. The third one, I want to see him really put against the wall.
Yeah, I'm looking through the set photos right now.
Looks gorgeous.
Yeah. Andrew Scott. He could so be the bad guy.
It's gonna be. I mean, you said it. I mean, what if it was Blanc all along?
What if it was him for all three of them?
Blind dart throwing at the board. Mila Kunis.
Really?
Just blind. I have no reasoning for that.
All right.
And we'll come back.
To move on?
Yes, we are. We'll come back and see how our predictions were. And now we will go to our very last segment, and this is how we will let you guys go. We have what you should know before you go, which is always at the tail end. We talk about the stories that deserve some highlight but didn't deserve the 20 to 30 minutes of discussion. And that will start with Variety talking about Michael Caine to come out of retirement at 92 years old to star alongside Vin Diesel in The Last Witch Hunter 2. Tom Holland went on record to state that he reads fan comments online when preparing to play Spider-Man, stating, quote, "I think it really is important because we make these movies for them." Florence Pugh, Ariana Grande, and Emma Watson are reportedly the frontrunners to be the next Bond girl in Amazon's upcoming Bond flick. The Paper, NBC's Peacock The Office spinoff, has already been renewed for a season 2, despite the first having not yet been released, or at least just now recently been released. When that was released, the news, it wasn't yet released. The Street Fighter film from Sony Pictures has officially begun filming and will release in October of next year. The film will star Noah Centineo, Andrew Koji, 50 Cent, Jason Momoa, Roman Reigns, and more. And Jordan Peele's next original horror film has been pulled from Universal Pictures' 2026 release calendar amidst production issues. So, of these 6 headlines, which one caught your
eye? The Bond girl, I guess, and the Paper, that because I'm not the Paper hater. I just don't think it's going to do very well, and I'm actually very surprised they got renewed for a second season. But I don't know how they came down to Florence Pugh, Ariana Grande, and Emma Watson as being the Bond girls. It just feels very, I don't know. I think they'll all do fine, I guess. Maybe I wouldn't choose Ariana Grande if I had to think about somebody who plays a good. But I don't know where they're going with this Bond yet, right? Do we really like?
No.
Aren't they going to younger,
Yeah.
or so? I don't really know what scope they're going to put the Bond or even the Bond girl in. So until I know more about the actual story, I probably couldn't place anybody in that role. So I rescind my Ariana Grande hate. It's not hate, but I just didn't think that she would do a very quick.
The flashing of the controversial quarter.
I
Thing is, Ariana Grande is a very talented actor. I don't know. I feel like Florence Pugh or Emma Watson would be the better choice, just because I feel like they could play, like, if they're going a more serious Bond, I feel like they could play that type. Like Florence Pugh.
I mean, if those are the three, it's Florence in first, I would say.
I would agree. And nothing against Ariana Grande. I've not seen her in that type of role. So I would be interested to see how she would do, because I think she'd do well. But when I look at it, I think Florence Pugh screams Bond girl. I think that she would very well pull that off. And then Emma Watson, I think, is very underrated. I think she would actually do very well. For me, it's less about her talent and more about, I just don't know. I've not seen her in a role like that. So in terms of Ariana Grande, so I don't know.
I'm trying to look down through her. I don't. Besides, like, a lot of these are music videos, of course, obviously, right? Sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Besides Wicked,
Victorious, right? Like she was Kat in that, and Sam and Cat, like her TV show Nickelodeon days. But it's like those were very silly.
She was in Don't Look Up, that kind of psychological thriller about asteroid coming in and killing everybody. But I mean, that was a more serious one, but I'm not even seeing her in any of the photos. So, but Tyler Perry. Anyway, I know that Emily's a big Street Fighter fan, and I'm unsure if she has anything to say about that topic, if she wants to chime in. And the actors that are going to be playing some of the characters. We didn't list off who they were playing, but that has been revealed. So if you want to seek that out on your own, guys, figure out the Street Fighter castings and who they're playing. I don't think they're very far off. I think Jason Momoa is actually playing a pretty fun character to see him in. But to see Jordan Peele's next horror film being pulled, that kind of raises an eyebrow. Like, there's got to be some kind of drama there, production issues, and we're just going to leave it at that. Like, come on, give me the beans.
Yeah,
give me the juice.
No one really knows. Like, it's kind of just like, it's not going to be released, and people are like, why? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another one. I liked. Was it just called Nope? If Nope's last third was as intense thematically as its first 2/3 were, it would have been a flawless horror film. But it went very lighthearted in the last 30 minutes, and it lost me. But I really was looking forward to his next one, and obviously him is a produced work by him, but he didn't. He's not directing it.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to our 5 here, Michael Caine.
I don't remember the first Witch Hunter.
I don't think.
You?
No, I don't think I know this film very much. It's got to be something for him to come out of retirement.
Maybe you just like the first one. Maybe Vin Diesel personally asked him.
I'm quite fond of The Last Witch Hunter.
Were you?
No. I was acting as Michael Caine.
You're making fun of his act.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I don't know. I can't see this. Like, yeah, sure, it'll probably be fine. I will say 18% on Rotten Tomatoes was the first one.
Michael.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Was he in the first one?
I'll look. It's from Lionsgate. He is in the first one.
There's a tie.
Vin Diesel, Elijah Wood, Rose Leslie, Michael Caine, and a lot more. I don't know. I'm not into it. I
just stayed in retirement.
Yeah, 92 years old. Just let him enjoy retirement, dude. He's 92.
I don't know, man. All right.
Anyway,
that was a soft close, but I'm not really too passionate about any of these.
no, I would say I think the most interesting one is that I don't think there's anything shocking here. I'm interested to see what people like Jason Momoa and Cody Rhodes would be in a Street Fighter. Those are professional wrestlers, and we're seeing more and more pro wrestlers. We talked John Cena, we talked Batista, we talked The Rock. Turn acting, and so I'm interested to see how they kind of do in that turn. But other than that, I mean, that's it for the news, ladies and gentlemen. That is what you should know before you go. And with that, that's a close to our Monday, September 8th episode. So thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry, Jake, go ahead.
No, I'm watching Peacemaker 2 right now, so
it's
pretty good.
There are a bunch of stuff on my list that I have to get to, and Peacemaker is one of them. But on that note, I saved it. I didn't hit one until just now. There it is. That is how we'll end our show, the gum graphic. On that note, that is the end of Beyond the Screen. We will see you guys next week. Goodbye.